All right, we're going to do a quick tutorial on how to submit an RPF, or that is to request position funding. Your human capital specialist can certainly help you with this process, but please note we are not the experts in this field, and if you need extra support, you should certainly reach out to your budget analyst who should be able to help you. As a note, an RPF is submitted if you're creating a new position. If you are trying to post a position and no changes need to be made on that existing position, then you do not need to submit an RPF. It's really only for creating a new job, or you'll note down here at the bottom if you're going to change a position. So if there's a change in headcount and 2 people will be splitting the position, if there's an increase or a decrease in the FTE, if you're changing the job code, the location, or the time report location. All right, so what we're going to do is from the SFUSD homepage, we're going to click Employee Login and log in once again to our intranet and access PeopleSoft through the link on the menu to the right. We'll log into PeopleSoft using our PeopleSoft login. And as a reminder, your human capital specialist has more options listed here than you do, but what we want to access for that RPF is once again site administration, and use. And then here you'll see the options you're pretty familiar with here, requisition for hire, PDF SERPA. We're not using that right now because, again, we're trying to create a new position or change a position. So we'll click RPF, request position funding. And as with all options in PeopleSoft, in order to submit a new RPF, PDF, what have you, you're going to click Add New Value on the bottom. Then you're going to enter your department code. So for the purposes of this exercise, I'm going to pretend that I am an administrator at Gene Parker. All right, so your department should auto-populate now up here at the top. You'll see that nothing has been submitted yet and there's no RPF number, so that's okay. We haven't yet created it. Under contact information, your information should populate as well. If for some reason you wanted to change that to be your clerk or your AP, you certainly could. Under details of change, you'll see that the department is listed once again here under department ID. And then we need to select the actual action we'd like to do with the position and later the reason. So let's go ahead and click that magnifying glass. Now there are 3 primary things you'll do here. You'll add a position, you'll delete a position, or you'll change position information. So here I'm going to go ahead and click Add a Position. Let's say we have a brand new class this year that we need to enroll, a bubble class if you will, or a class that's funded by a grant. We'll click Add a Position, and then these are the reasons that will auto-populate. New funding available for a grant. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And then if there's a reason that you selected Other, you would add more information in this box here. Now once again, you'll need approval from the administrator. So you'll see that an ID auto-populated here. This must be Mr. Tang's ID, so I'm going to go ahead and enter his information. You'll notice it is certainly not mine, as mine is up here at the top. And then I'm going to put in the date that this was authorized, 3/7/14, that is today. Next, we'll click Position Information. Now because this is a new position, nothing is populated in the top box here. So we're going to go straight to the second box. We want this position to be effective for the start of this next school year. We have this new grant, we have this new job. Then I'm going to make sure that I put an end date. The funding is only available for this coming school year, so I'll put an end date. If it is an ongoing job for the foreseeable future, you would not enter anything in the end date. And then lastly here in this section, we need to click what's going to happen. This essentially means what's happening upon the end date. So we'll click the magnifying glass, and we have 2 options. If we were editing a brand new position, we would click Remove RPF Changes. Pardon me. If we were editing an existing position, we'd do that. If it's a brand new position that we know we only have the temporary funding for, we would click Delete Position on End Date. So that's what I'm going to click. And then we need information about the job. So where is the location of the job? Again, we selected Gene Parker, so we're going to enter 63800. That is the location code. The job, again, it is, you know, a long list of job codes here. If you have questions about the appropriate job code, you should certainly talk to your human capital specialist, someone in HR, perhaps your supervisor, to make sure that that is all lined up okay. So let's actually pretend this is not a bubble class, but a resource teacher who's going to be working on a specific program at your site. You can do two things. You can use the find function, or you can search the job code using the actual name. You'll see here that resource teacher is not on this first tab, so I'll click the arrow to get the second, and here it is, teacher slash resource teacher. So this is someone who might do small group intervention, might do work with your teachers as well, kind of a combination job. Again, if you have questions about what that means and what that looks like, ask your human capital specialist in HR, and we can certainly make sure it's the appropriate job code for the new position. Here you want to look up the department ID /org funding. I'm going to go ahead and hit look up. You'll see a list of all of our departments, and eventually our school sites shows up on this particular list. So it is, again, a position at Gene Parker, so we'll say that it is Gene Parker's funding. You'll need their department ID. I'm going to go ahead and hit look up. I'm going to select that as well. Now that information is listed under department /org funding. You'll also need the supervisor's position number. So this should probably be the position number for your administrator. You can search it by using their employee ID here. All right, I got Mr. Chang's position number there. You'll need to enter the FTE of the position. You'll need to enter the calendar code. Again, hit lookup and you'll get the calendar codes. For the most part, it's going to be TK through 12 teachers, so we'll select that. The time report location, it should be your site, unless someone else is doing their timesheets, but that seems not appropriate. The head count, it's one teacher. Now let's say you had an existing position that already was like this, but you're creating a duplicate of it. You could certainly clone the position by putting the position number there. All right, so that's the second tab. The last thing we need is the SACS information for your job, your new position. This is something that unfortunately your human capital specialists do not have access to, so you're going to want to make sure you have that from your budget office, from your FileMaker Pro, whatever it is that you keep your SACS codes in, you should definitely grab the appropriate one. If you have questions, please call your budget analyst. Once you enter that, your PDF is basically complete. This Approvals tab is the tab that we use upon reviewing your RPF, and budget will use, so no need to worry about that last tab. Once you've done everything and have your SACS code in, go back to the first page. And as with everything with PeopleSoft, you'll be asked to submit that RPF for approval by checking that box and then hitting Save. Now let's say we want to change a position. It's a completely similar process, but I'm going to go ahead and start from the beginning once again. I'm going to go to the menu, hit Request Position Funding, add a new value. I'm going to enter the department code and add. And again, here we are at Gene Parker. Now we want to change a position because one of the teachers there, you've authorized for the teacher to go half-time, and you'll hire another half-time teacher. That means we want to change the head count. So we'll go to RPF Action. We'll go to Change Position Information. Again, we need a reason, so we'll click the magnifying glass on Reason Code and hit Lookup. Now here are all the reasons you might change an existing position's information. Again, you might change the FTE, either increasing or decreasing. You might change the job code, the location, the time report location. You might need to change the funding source. Again, you definitely want to talk to budget if you're going to do that and get the appropriate information for SACS codes previous and moving forward if you're changing that funding. To change location and time report, so both. And then activate an inactive position. Again, these are all things you should certainly consult your budget analyst about. But again, we're pretending that this teacher is going to go half-time, and we're going to find another half-time teacher. So we want to change the headcount. So we'll click Change Position Headcount. Again, we'll enter the administrator's information down here at the bottom. And today's date. Again, you don't need to enter anything in the reason code if it's pretty straightforward, but if you wanted to make sure we knew, you could certainly write here approval for half-time job share. If you're going to do that, please call your human capital specialist and ask them for a increase/reduce FTE form. We need all parties who are permanent or probationary teachers in this position to sign off and say, yes, I agree to go half-time. That form we have easily ready for you to fill out, and it is also on our district intranet. So to change this position, we need to go ahead and use the position number. So please make sure you have that to begin with. I'm going to go ahead and enter a position number here that I've already pulled. Click in another box, and then the position number information will auto-populate. So here we see this is an ELD classroom teacher at Gene Parker. It is, in fact, a 1.0. You'll see that the maximum headcount you can have is 1 at this time because that's what is already loaded. Down here, we're going to change it, so we're going to enter the effective date. Again, this is for next school year. We just want the job share for a year, so we'll put in the end date of the end of next school year. Again, we need to select an action of what will happen at the end of that year. We want to remove the changes because the teacher will go back to full-time, so we'll click Remove RPF Changes. Now that is listed here, and the one option we have, because we've selected to change the headcount, is actually to change the headcount in this box here. We're going to change it to 2. You'll see here the SACS information auto-populated because it's an existing position on the SACS page. Again, just double-checking the position information here. We have our start and end date. We have our reason. We have our new headcount. I'm going to go back to the front tab. And at this point, we've done everything that we need to submit the RPF. We'll click this box down here and then hit Save. Again, if for some reason you've missed something, you will not be able to select this box. As in the last demo, I did not have a SACS string, so I could not hit Submit. I'm not actually going to submit this because I don't want to change this position number that I pulled from Gene Parker, but that is the how-to on how to change existing position information. Again, your human capital specialist, we're more than happy to help you in submitting an RPF, but please note the experts here are going to be your budget analysts, so please be in contact with them if you need to either create a new job or change an existing one. Thanks so much, and good luck.